Back in the days, if you would have left your weave in for 6 months, people would have looked at you like you crazy. Well, people probably still look at you like that. But lately, people have been uncovering that is the secret to longer, thicker, stronger hair. Hey, curl friends, and welcome back to Coconuts, home of the Long Hair Society. I hope you guys been keeping up with the last couple of videos in this series of a 6-month sewing takedown, detangle, and reinstall. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to properly install a 6-month sewing so you can get the best growth out of it. So now her hair is freshly shampooed, her scalp is clean, and her hair is free from all that fairy dust. It's time for me to go ahead and use a natural heat protectant, and this also doubles as a finger detangling oil. You don't have to use all those other type of heat protectants that has chemicals and unwanted ingredients in them. You can just get this from nature. Nature provides all. The main ingredient is jojoba oil, and this is going to add so much slip that you'll be able to finger detangle and protect your hair against any heat. Yes, I said finger detangle. We have to finger detangle again before we use the comb. This is going to make sure that we're not tearing out any of her healthy hair. I have many videos showing you how to finger detangle and how to properly use the comb. Make sure you check them out. Now I'm going to go in with my Dyson. Girl, I love him. Dyson be so good to me. Girl, he treat me right. So I'm going to go ahead and blow her out and section her off because now it's time for me to load her hair up with some amazing oils and butters because you know I like to make sure that a person's hair is sealed before we do a protective style. This is just going to protect their hair and build a coating around each strand. Because I just removed a protective style and I'm about to reinstall another protective style, I want to make sure that her scalp is happy. So I'm going to go ahead and soothe it and pretty much kind of numb it before I do a protective style on it. So I'm going to use my soothing scalp salve, and all the products that I will be using today can be found in the description box. All the products are all natural because girl, I'll be using no poison around me or on nobody hair. Well, I try not to. As a hairstylist, you have to be really careful about what you breathe in. Using so many different type of chemicals in people's hair, you can ingest that and it can affect your respiratory system. So if you're a stylist out there, consider switching you and your clients to natural products. It's better for their health, better for their hair, and it's definitely better for your health as a professional stylist. After soothing her scalp and basically numbing it, I'm going to go in with my Magic Growth Oil. This thing right here, listen, you need this. It's going to help grow your hair. This oil is so thick and luxurious. I'm going to go ahead and base her hair strands from root to tip, and it's going to make sure that her hair strands are coated, baby. I love this oil. It's great for people who have coarse hair, thick hair, or people looking to get their hair thick. Definitely opt for thicker oils and butters if you want to protect your hair and grow it and thicken it. The key word in protective style is protect. So you got to protect your hair and the person's hair. Make sure you oil it up. Use natural oils and just don't be stingy. Go ahead and grease the hair up. It's going to protect it. It's going to promote growth. And she wasn't born with this long hair, okay? She had to grow it and retain it. Well, I had to. So trust me when I say these oils are going to do what it needs to do and give you the length that you deserve. So I'm going to grab my leave-in conditioner, and this is made with all natural Salve butter and mango butter and some other great ingredients. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on top of what I already put on it and just make sure her hair is sealed. Yes, I butter her up. Y'all remember all that buildup, but it's a protection, okay? We got to make sure that her hair is built up. The strength is built, okay, and protected. While I'm coating, I'm avoiding any of the parts of her hair that will be left out in this future sewing because I want to make sure that it's not too weighed down so that her hair will look nice and seamless and blowing in the wind. Do you see how her hair glistening? Yes, that's why I oil the person's hair until the ancestors tell me to stop. So again, she's doing a middle part. I always tell her to let her middle part rest and switch sides, but hey, that's a sacrifice she's willing to take. So I ain't gonna get between her and her leave out. So girl, I just do my little job and I'm just going to section her hair. So I'm sectioning out the leave out part that she wants left out. She wants the middle part, and I'm leaving a little bit of the sides and the front out. Then I'm going to carve out a section around the leave out, and those are going to act as my anchor braids so the track can be very close to the leave out, and it can just look flawless and real. Now let's start braiding. So I like to always start in the back and do one braid across. I never do them straight backs because you will lose the back of your hair. So I'm going to start with one braid right across. Make sure it's not too tight. Make sure they can move their neck. You don't want them bumps in the back of their neck now. So don't be too tight. It doesn't need to be tight. The key to having a sew-in last is about locking your threads. It's not about tight braids. So then I create another braid going in the opposite direction, and I braid that from the front all the way to the back, and I also stuff the last braid into this braid. I know it sounds confusing, but just pay attention and you'll see the pattern that I'm creating. You want to create a pattern that's going to leave the person sewing flat no matter how long their hair is, no matter how thick their hair is. You don't have to braid tight. You don't have to tug. Just take your time and braid. Now I'm going to part in the opposite side, and I'm going to do the same thing starting from the front to the back and braid it right across and include that last braid into this braid. The key is we don't want a lot of braids hanging, so when it's time to sew up the braids, we're not sewing up too much. I will have a class in my Patreon, so if you are interested in really doing a 6-month sewing, you'll be able to learn in this class. It'll be about 3 hours long, and you'll get to know everything about completing this so you can provide this service to your clients, or you can learn to do it on your friends and family. I pretty much stick to this basket weave pattern because it works no matter what length of hair the person has or their thickness. I know a lot of people like to do smaller braids, but I found over the years of doing sew-ins, you don't need to have tiny braids. You just need to have strategic braids, and it will work, and the person will be able to keep it in for months. Now, I like to string a lot of needles at a time because I ain't got time to be breaking, taking a break, stringing up needles. Like, I ain't got time for that. I need to just get through. Okay, so if you are interested in doing sew-ins, definitely go ahead and grab you about 50 needles, string them up, and it'll make the sewing go by faster. Now I'm sewing up the ends of her hair, and this part you definitely want to make sure that you fit them into spots that's not going to make the person's hair lumpy at all. You want to make sure that this sewing is flat, okay? The person is probably going to keep it in for a long time. So as their hair grows out, you want it to still look very flat. So definitely pay attention to where you place the ends of the person's hair when you're sewing it down. I like to show these videos because I know a lot of you are not going to be able to do sew-ins on other people because that's just not your cup of tea. But at least you'll be able to see how a sew-in should be done for hair growth. That way, when you go to get your hair done, you can kind of, understand what a stylist is doing in your head. Are they messing your hair up? Are they going to help promote growth in your hair? Is this going to be flat? You'll have an idea if somebody's playing in your head or messing your head up. And you can make that decision to just get up out that chair, or you can kind of, tell them what to do. I mean, you are paying them. You have the right to kind of instruct them how you want your hair done, especially if you're on a long hair journey. I'm not saying that I do the best sew-ins in town, but who am I kidding, girl? I do the best sew-ins in my state. Okay, I'm for sure. I think I do the best sew-ins in the U.S. of A, because I just believe that this technique and this method really helps promote growth, and it can be done on any length of hair and pretty much any texture of hair. So when I open up my books, y'all make sure to book me and come get a sewing. That way I can help you get long, thick hair. And the good thing about it, you would only have to come see me twice a year, really, and you can get so much length. Girl, I can grow your hair to waist length in 2.5 years, boo-boo? I mean, that's gonna give you that. How long you been going to your stylist? Is your hair long to your booty or nah? Okay, that lady been getting her rent money every single month from you, and what do you have to show for it? All right, I ain't gonna be picking on your stylist, but on a serious note, if you've been going to the same stylist for a couple of years, or you've been wearing protective style for over 3 years and you don't have at least 18 inches of hair or close to it, chances are you need a new stylist or you need to really examine your protective style routine. So now I'm going to go ahead and wash those extensions, because even though she had these extensions for almost 2 years, they're still really good. They just a little dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and, change it up a little bit. I'm going to give her a little bit of some highlights, and then I'm going to make sure I disinfect this hair. But what I really do is I shampoo it with detergent, dish detergent, because that's really going to get the grease out and most of the any odor or any type of dust. And then I'm going to soak it into conditioner, water, and then I put a little bit of fabric softener in there just to soften up the hair, and it's back fresh as new. It works every time, especially if you spent good money on great hair extensions. She's using Yaki Cocoa Straight in her hair, and I love this texture because it just complements her leave out so well. So now I'm just stitching in her hair, and this is the most important part of a 6-month sewing. A lot of people think that you need a hairnet to do a 6-month sewing, or you need to braid the person's hair with braiding hair. You really don't need to do all of that, because the key to having a sewing last is actually the stitching part. Now, I know how to stitch, baby. So I lock my threads and I sew close together, and I just use a lot of thread. I'm sorry, but this always works, where it's basically a permanent style. It's going to grow out with your hair. The only way to get this sewing out is to literally cut it out. So after I'm done stitching it in, I'm going to use my Dyson again, because that's my baby daddy. And I'm going to blow her out a little bit. And you can see that her leave out blends so well with this hair. It looks so real. It doesn't even look like I sewed her hair in. I mean, her natural hair is longer than the hair extensions that I put in. And this is just beautiful. Ain't it something that you can wear weave, but deep down inside that your hair longer than the weave? Girl, that make you feel so good. And the color job is real nice. She was scared to do color, but I was like, girl, let me just break you in with a little bit of color, honey. So now I'm just going to flatten her out so she can have it, look a little seamless and flat. And honey, she is feeling herself. Yes, girl. I did that. It looks so natural. It's giving what weave? Who's wearing weave? How are you going to tell her this is not her hair, especially if you see her today and 5 months later with the same hair? You feel me? Now, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave me a comment. Tell me how you feel about this look. Definitely like this video, because I know you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed, because I got so much more videos lined up. Thank you so much for your support, and check out these long hair products at coconuts.com.